Welcome back to another Wuthering Waves video, and today I wanted to go over the top 5 reasons I personally think everyone should give this game a shot. Now, the obvious, this is a open world gacha game. The only other one is Genshin. However, this game is completely different and has an identity of its own. Don't listen to all the nonsense online and the people fighting and arguing. Let's get right into it. The first reason right off the bat is going to be the gameplay. This is easily some of the smoothest gameplay I've had in a video game, period. This thing is beautiful. It runs amazing. I mean, just look at this. Chef's kiss. Now, the combat system, it's not complicated, although I'm not going to lie to you, it does seem a little bit much at first. I'm not going to break down the whole combat system in this video. I'm going to do that in a different video, but pretty much to give you the basics, you have your normal attacks, your charge attacks, there are plunging attacks, skills, elemental bursts. There's nothing new here. However, what makes Wuthering Waves very different, not only just on the base combat itself, but there's intro, outro skills, as well as forte circuits. To break these down as quickly as possible, when you hear this sound, kind of got a little bit like an Undertaker, you know, ring to it, the gong, you know what I'm saying? The game is encouraging you to swap out and go to another character. The current character that you have on field is going to do an outro animation, so they're going to do some sort of attack to pretty much maximize your damage, and then the character coming in on screen is going to do some sick ass crazy shit to also deal a certain amount of damage. It's unique to everyone, so it makes each character feel even more special. Now, the forte circuit, you see this little bar above the health? This is where the main mechanic comes in for every single character. As I said, everyone is different, but I'm going to give you an example of my favorite character, Donja. Every time you use her skill, you get a certain amount increased on the bar, and it could build up into 2 points. A halfway point, which you could do a charge attack that does a large amount of damage but also restores health. However, if you fill the bar all the way up to the max, that charge attack will do even more damage and still regenerate health. These forte circuits allow to synergize perfectly with the rest of the character's kits, and it gives you just more gameplay options as opposed to just the normal skill, burst, etc. The other main part about the combat that I wanted to touch real quick is parrying and dodging. It's low-key like Gacha Elden Ring. I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. You need to learn how to parry, and you need to learn how to perfect dodge, and if you don't, you're going to die. Mayu, no skill issues here. But you see this gigantic yellow ring. When you see that over an enemy or a boss, if you hit them at the exact same time with a normal attack, you will parry them, and that gives you an entryway into DPS. Overall, the combat, it's just smooth and there's genuine depth to it. The second reason why I want everyone to try this game is the gacha system, bro. This gacha is probably the best gacha system I've seen on any gacha game, period. I'm going to give you the quickest breakdown as possible. There are going to be 4 banners: your limited character banner, your limited weapon banner, your standard banner, but then a standard weapon banner. You see 5 on the screen right now because one of these is the beginner banner. However, once you finish that banner, it goes away and it's just a standard banner. So that's why it's 5. Here's how this works. Every banner has a max pity of 80. Now, on your standard character banner, you can lose a 50-50. So if you're going for someone like Gian, I probably fucked up his name. I'm a stupid illiterate American. I apologize. If you're going for this homie, there is a possibility you could lose your 50-50 and get someone completely different from the standard banner. That's normal. Same thing with Genshin and Star as well. Every 10 pulls you get, you will be getting a 4-star guarantee. Here's where things get so good, bro. The limited time weapon banner that corresponds to the character that's on that 5-star limited banner, it's guaranteed. If you were rolling for Gion's weapon and you have sunk in 80 pulls, if you were really unlucky and the gacha gods don't fuck with you on that day and you hit hard pity, there's no chance of you getting a completely different weapon. It's impossible. You will 100% be guaranteed that weapon on that banner. Yo, thank God. I can't tell you how many weapon banners I've lost in Genshin that I've had to win 2 more to get. Don't get me started. It's beautiful. Standard banner, nothing too crazy here. You have X amount of characters on the standard banners that you get. They're all really solid. But here's the other dope part about the game. The standard weapon banner. Bro, again, as of now, 80 pity, but you could focus the type of weapon that you want. 5 weapons, and if I want the sword, I lock in on that sword, and that is it. Unlike the Chronicle Wish banner, where you could lose, and then you have to go all the way to potentially max pity again. You could lose. That's not the case. If I want that sword after 80 pulls, I'm getting that sword, brother. It's insane. They have done a tremendous job with the gacha system. Number 3, Wuthering Waves is 1000% free to play friendly. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. Shout out to I Am Rivenous, who actually calculated that you can get 240 pulls for free just by playing the game. I'm going to be linking this video, but also their channel in the description, as they're overall just a really great Wuthering Waves content creator, and they should get as much exposure as possible. And it's not only free to play friendly because you're going to be getting an ungodly amount of wishes, the fact that it is mainly combat oriented. You are going into this game and getting 6 free characters. You're going to get these characters either through story or, login events, or actually completing like certain endgame activities, which we'll get to in a bit because there is an endgame, just spoilers. That's one of the reasons. But it doesn't matter if you go in there and you see 6 a character right off the bat. If you cannot learn how to parry and dodge and understand these boss patterns, you're going to die. It's not going to just be go in with C6 Jinyon and melt the boss in 2 seconds like how I could do with Genshin or Arlecchino. That is not the case. I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this. Get good. Have to have a level of skill to this, and that incentivizes people to not spend money. You physically do not need to spend money to play the game. You just have to play the game and be good. That's it. So in itself, not only is it very generous with the wishes and all that other stuff, but the gameplay is incentivizing you. If you're good at the game, you'll beat all the content. Maybe it'll take it a little bit longer if you're using someone like the Rover as opposed to like an amazing broken 5-star with yo-yos and booba effect, but it's possible and it's doable. And if you're good, you might be able to complete it faster. Now this is where it gets crazy, bro. This is where it gets crazy. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Hold on. Endgame, brother. There's a fucking endgame, son. Here's the deal, bro. We have 3 main endgames as CBT2. We have what is their equivalent of the Spiral Abyss, known as Tower of Adversity. There are 2 parts to this. There's the stable and the experiment zones. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was actually so hard to the point where I was unable to complete it in CBT2. Now, I was having a skill issue, and that's what I'm saying. You can't just go in and fucking hammer through everything and forehead through everything. You actually need to be good, grind, level your characters, and really understand the combat. But anyways, that's just my skill issue. I digress. So for this game mode, people are saying you're going to need 9 built characters because there is an energy system. When you use certain characters in levels, they will deplete their energy, and over time, if their energy hits 0, you can't use the game. I believe their energy starts at 10. Again, this is subject to change. It could be a little bit different, but I don't see them changing this that much. The other mode they have is called Depth of Elusive Realms. This is literally Honkai Impact 3's Elysium Realm. It's like that roguelike stuff. You go in, you only have 1 character, but as you complete levels and defeat enemies, you pick pretty much buffs to take over, and you actually get other supports to help you along. Again, it's actually very challenging. It is not easy. The 3rd end game is going to be the hologram bosses. I think that's what they're called. It might be something different. But what happens is this. Once you reach a certain level in your union rank, which is pretty much Genshin Impact's AR system, you unlock other versions of the world bosses, and they're a million times harder, and there's up to 6 difficulties. So if you complete each difficulty, you will get a one-time rewards for each of them. Now, obviously, the replay value on this is not going to be as much, especially because it will be one-time rewards. So, if you clear out the whole map in the first month and you defeat all of them all on level 6, you're not going to get any more rewards, but I'd still go back to it because it's fun. Every level that you increase, so from 1 to 2 to 3, etc., boss does more damage. They get different attack patterns that you have to adapt to. It is not going to be the same thing, and it's just overall increases the difficulty, and it's fun. 3 endgame modes off the bat when the game launches. Maybe there's more, I don't know. That's a lot. That is a lot, and it gives you a purpose to go in there and say, hey, let me get past the story. Let me actually level my characters and see what the game is about. My 5th and final reason, now this is the ecosystem, aka the artifact system. Again, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I will probably break this down in a completely different video and more detailed, but the ecosystem is probably the best gear system I've seen in a video game in the longest time ever. Here's how it works. Genshin Impact, you have 2-piece sets and 4-piece sets. In Wuthering Waves, you have a 2-piece set and a 5-piece set. How do you get echoes? You don't need resin.
I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to.
You simply go around. There's going to be a book, again, like the Adventurer's Handbook in Genshin. You can target certain enemies in the wildlife, and when you defeat them, you have a chance to suck them up, and you can turn them into an artifact. Now, here's the coolest stuff about this. 1, the first echo that you equip per character, you can actually use in combat. So you have your party of 3, but then each person also has their own echo. So in a sense, you really got like 6 people to interact with, which is pretty cool. But not only that, there is a point system with the echoes. So I believe the point system goes 8, 10, 12. You can equip as up to many echoes that fits in that point system. So just keep in mind, if you have your main echo starting at 5 points and then you have 2 other echoes that are 5 apiece, you can't equip, you can't equip all of them at once. So it also makes it so that way it's not too broken and you're not too overpowered. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to play out, in the long term in the end game, but it's a very good system, bro. A very, very, very solid system. Now, with farming these echoes, you could even farm the bosses endlessly, and it does not require resin. You just have to get lucky. The bad side and the downside, unfortunately, is RNG. If you finish your whole adventure handbook, not including the bosses, because you can fight the bosses as many times as you want, at least to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong. The random enemies in the wild, if you run out in the day, you probably have to wait X amount of hours until they respawn. That part sucks. I'm sure they'll implement some systems to get around that, but overall, it is still an amazing system and I love it. This game is good, man. This game is good. It has potential. Go into it, treat it as its own game, and just enjoy it. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one.
It's calling my name. So come on, baby, let's stop thinking.